Alright, what's going on YouTube? I know it has been a while since we've been back uploading some videos. I've just been busy with work and just getting ready to move here in the next couple of months, but that's besides the point. This video is going to actually be a sort of a first. I'm actually going to be doing an update to the last video that I did for the Shadow Monarch class, which is the solo leveling class that I showcased about a couple of weeks ago. At the time of recording, it only went up to level 12, but a lot of people have been telling me in the comments that the mod class actually goes up to level 20, and so we're going to be going over the process of leveling up from level 13 to level 20. If you haven't seen the previous video, I'll try and link it somewhere on the screen here, or I'll put it in the description down below, as well as the first comment, so that way you can watch the level 12 process. So that way you kind of know what you're getting yourself into before going on to level 20, which, assuming all of you that are watching this video have probably seen that first one. Anyway, rambling now. At level 13, you get another health increase, and you get the ability to gain 2 spells, which this is actually something that I was curious about, is you have access to level 3 spells now, such as Fear, Grant Flight, Gaseous Form, Hungles of Hadar, things like that. Animate Dead, actually, when doing testing, actually works along with your summons. So if you want to have a couple more summons under your umbrella, which is one of the things that I criticized about the spellcast, or not, sorry, spellcast, about the mod class, having Animate Dead would be a viable option, as you can animate a corpse you can animate the dead from a corpse, sorry. In terms of like what else you want to use, Slow is pretty good, Remove Curse if you're doing story stuff. Hunger of Hadar is actually pretty good, although you actually do get a couple of spells from the class itself that are very similar to it. That's I really haven't picked up Darkness as well. Vampiric Touch is good if you want to get some life back. Counterspell is also pretty good, so I'll probably go with Counterspell. And then going into level 12, we have another health increase, and then we have a class feature, Monarch's Power. Shadows created with Shadow Extraction have additional hit points equal to your Shadow Monarch level, and your proficiency bonus is added to their damage. So, this actually does scale and buff up your Shadow Extractions, which I believe the Shadow Extractions, if I remember correctly, are the summons that you can summon yourself, not the ones that you can summon once you kill an enemy. So, they will scale a little bit better, they'll have additional hit points, and they do a little bit more damage. At level 15, you get another health increase, and you get another action, Inspiring Sovereign. Your aura strengthens your army and inspires loyalty. All creatures of your choice within 30 feet gain advantage on saving throws against being frightened or charmed. Your shadow minions add 3 to their AC and saving throws. So pretty good overall. Lasts for 5 turns as a bonus action. I think you can keep using this. I don't think it requires a short rest, but we'll check at the tools bar once we get done with the level up process. Level 16, we get another health increase. We gain the ability to use 2 spells, which here, just kind of pick and choose what you like. Your spell options are a little bit limited. Even if you do have like other spell mods installed, you don't really get the option to use that many. Just for, I would say, the sake, I would say Grant Flight's pretty good. Fear is pretty good. You can't go wrong with a lot of these choices, depending if you're playing through story mode or if you just do like the Trials of Tap, which is what I'm doing. So Hold Person would be pretty useful. And then maybe something like Grant Flight if you just want to have access to flight. It just depends on what you're playing. Armor of Acthus is pretty decent, I guess, but you'll get better spells and access to better things within the class itself. So, say probably like maybe Shatter or Witch Bolt if you want pure damage. It's just kind of your choice. And then we also get another ability feat here. If you haven't gotten things such as Alert, I mean, it's a little late in the game for that if you're already at level 15, 16. I would say just get like Charisma to buff that up to 20, which is one of the preferred abilities here, along with Dexterity. Level 17, not much here. You just get a simple health increase from 100 to 106. At level 18, you get another health increase, and we get some additional cantrips and spells. So from 106 to 112, we get another cantrip. Sovereign of Shadows. You gain the ability to summon an elite shadow creature, CR equal to half of your level, for 1 minute as an action. This elite shadow does not count towards your shadow limit. You regain this ability after a long rest. Now, I like this option, however, I understand the limitation because essentially you are summoning one of the generals. I believe it's Idris that you're summoning, quote unquote, and that's why it only lasts for 10 turns, and it can only be used once per long rest. So, we'll definitely play with that as we do the combat demonstration. You get 2 more additional spells. And then we get another cantrip, Monarch's Domain. Damages all nearby creatures and objects. Creatures made from inorganic materials such as stone have advantage on their saving throw. So this is only really good against like fleshy creatures. Anything that's made like stone and automatrons, I believe, have an advantage against this. We get another action, Shadow Manipulation. This gives us the ability to summon even stronger shadows, and I'll showcase that as well here once we've done with the level up process. You get 2 more additional spells up to level 4. Here you can kind of play around with a couple here. Really your choice. Banishment's pretty good if you want to get rid of someone off the field. Dimension Door is also pretty strong as well to kind of like navigate, especially like during some story elements. You can always like respec any of these, obviously, so don't feel like you're like trapped between a certain ability. Now, something that you can also do here is take one of like the initiates here, maybe such like Warlock if you wanted to have some additional Warlock spells, such as maybe Green Flame Blade's pretty good. Booming Blade's also really strong if you want to have like a little bit more melee attacks with your weapons. Or if you haven't done it yet, you can go with Savage Attacker, which is also pretty strong. So any of those will actually work out pretty well. At level 19, just another health increase, nothing special here. And then level 20, we get another health increase, we get a couple of class features, and we get 2 more spells. So the class feature is unlock the full potential of the Shadow Monarch. I'm not exactly sure what that means, to be honest. I believe that just everything scales up to the max level, from my assumption. And then we have the Eternal Monarch Additional Shadows. When you use Shadow Extraction, you can raise 2 additional shadows. So now we can start raising like 2 additional shadows, so it's a little bit more shadows that you can have in your army, which is pretty cool. I think this kind of addresses some of the main complaints I had when I initially did the video with the limitations of having as many summons as you can. You get 2 more spells here, so just kind of pick and choose. You have access to 3 level 5. Dominate, Hold Monster, and Telekinesis. I mean, Hold Monster is actually really strong. Telekinesis is okay. I would still say like maybe Dimension Door. Remove Curse for story elements. Slow is actually pretty good. So any of these will actually work out. It just depends on like how you want to play. Black Tentacle is actually pretty strong to keep a creature at bay. And then here we have our final feat. You can kind of just mess around with any of these feats, which, you know, best suits you. If you want to have a little bit more magic, Wizard's pretty good. Wizard Initiative, you want to have like a couple of like additional spells and cantrips. I'm always in favor of things like Booming Blade, which is actually really strong. Or like Green Flame Blade or like Infestation, stuff like that. You also have like additional spell. Warlock and Sorcerer are actually pretty good too if you want to do any of those spells. So I would say if anything else, you can pick one of the initiates. You already have Savage Attacker at this point. So anything, honestly, would be good. Dual Wielder's not really important because you already have that ability with the class, so I wouldn't really waste that. So I would just say something like maybe like one of the initiates would be pretty good. Just have like a little bit more magic and cantrips to play around with. I mean, Warlock's obviously pretty strong, so it just depends on what you like. I do have like a couple of other like mod spells installed here. This is why I have to have things like Lightning Lore and Soul Dive and stuff like that. So you might not have as many of these installed if you don't have like a lot of the other mods installed for like magic and stuff like that. Anyway, so alright, so now that we actually got through some of this leveling process, I did want to kind of showcase some of the new abilities for actually going to the combat scenario. So one of the things that we did get was access to the Sovereign of Shadows. I'm actually going to do this in battle, so that way I don't waste like the turns here. But one of the things we did get was Shadow Manipulation level 4. So kind of going back, let me see if I can find level 3. Level 3 and level 2 seems to not be working properly. But that's fine. Level 1 seems to be working properly. I'm not sure about level the other levels here. But anyway, Shadow Manipulation level 1. We have the Shadow Extraction, Beast, the Ant King, which I believe is new. Mage, Warrior, and the Dragon. Now these are all level 1. So I believe these are done with the new update here. So essentially it's just like the ant monstrosity, or basically the Ant King, which, spoiler alert if you haven't seen like the latest episode of the anime or if you have been reading the manga. But anyway, we actually have a new summon here, and what's cool is that when you level up to level 20 or one of the higher levels, you actually get access to more than just one. You actually can summon 3 at a time. So this definitely fixes the issue that I had originally with the class, to where like it was very limited to like the shadow manipulations you can summon. It does suck that level 2 and level 3 don't seem to be working. This may be something on my end that I have to figure out. But you do get some new extractions here. You also get level 4, which... Now you can summon dragons. So, you'd also summon 3 dragons as well. They're all bunched together just because of the limited space, but you do actually get that ability to actually have more summon extractions. I do wish, and I know this is just like wishful thinking, would be a little bit hard, if there is like another additional update that you can choose what level to summon certain creatures. Like, say for example, if I wanted to do like level 1, I can still separate that from level 4 extraction, so that way I can summon like different creatures. Like if I want to have like level 1 be owlbears, or like level 2 be like archers, so on and so forth. I think that's part of the reason that Animate Dead works the way it is, because as you can see here, a lot more options to animate the dead. So you can definitely play around with this with like dead corpses and stuff. I just wish that the shadow extractions would allow you to kind of mix and match a couple of them. So, but anyway, that's kind of like wishful thinking. That's one of the biggest changes here. Once you get to level 20, is that you have the ability to summon like multiple shadow extractions. They do actually scale as well. And whenever you in combat, whenever you kill someone, like one of the arise resurrection things happen, those creatures are a little bit stronger. Everything else here is just kind of the same, more or less, except the ability to have like a couple of extra spells, such as slow, banishment, and some of the higher level tiers. So we're going to go into combat and just kind of test out some of the creatures here. I'll try and do as many as I can, but just based on like the stats, it's going to be pretty strong. So I'll try and do what I can to showcase each one of the abilities.
For some bloody work. Impero Morto. Well, so much for peace. Impero Mortus! Blood comes easy these days. Hope your soul is in good hands. Death won't take me yet.